Oh, the weather may be warm, but don't you fret. It's about to get cold again, oh yes. Let's talk about just how much rain there'll be. Maybe a little bit ice. I don't really know where I'm going with this, so let's just start the roundup today. Okay? Okay. Good morning. It is a caffeinated Thursday here on the 18th of January, 2024. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Boldy and Chief David Reimer. Yes, it is caffeine time, and yes, it is almost Friday. Let's talk about the weather we've got to deal with over the next few days. And if you're a warm weather fan, you're probably going to be happy today is here. But we'll start off with the high resolution rapid refresh model cloud cover. Southern third to the southern half of Texas this afternoon, but otherwise we'll see mostly sunny skies across the state. So we head into tomorrow. Cloud cover continues deep south Texas, Rio Grande Valley, with increasing cloud cover arriving from the west. In addition, we'll see crash of the cold front moving south through Texas tonight. But as you can see, based off this depiction, it is going to be a dry crash of the cold front, but it will pack a punch. In comparison to several days ago, it's so crashy, but it's still going to be a pretty strong cold front in its own right. Today's high temperatures across the state, it is going to be in the 60s and 70s. If you're in the southwestern 75% of Texas, this is only about a 70 to 80 degree climb in temperatures, especially when you take into account wind chills across several regions of the state. Coolest spot today, and I say that relatively, is 50 in the Ark-La-Tex, Texarkana. Otherwise, it is going to be a beautiful day to be outdoors and mending those pipes that may have gone kaput before our next crash of the cold front arrives this evening into tomorrow. You're asking, well, how bad's this one going to be? Well, here's tomorrow's high temperature forecast. We're back into the upper 20s to 30s, northern third of Texas, struggling to get above freezing. The Panhandle, Texoma will be into the 40s across the Permian Basin, central Texas Hill Country, into the Brazos Valley, East Texas. And again, this may just be because high temperatures occur after 6 a.m. tomorrow, so it may actually be colder than that by the afternoon. We'll still make it up into the low 50s, southeast Texas, 60s, Rio Grande Valley, and the borderland in far west Texas. As we get into Saturday morning, ho, 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 it is not going to be warm. Did I just mention how it's going to be in the 70s to near 80 today in spots? Take 60 degrees off that, and that's your low temperatures for Saturday morning in 2 days. No wonder we're all getting sick. Lows, teens, northern half of Texas, freezing line all the way down to the Gulf Coast. Only folks who may stay above freezing, the borderland, far west Texas, deep south Texas, the Rio Grande Valley. Otherwise, yeah, another hard freeze. Yay, because it's great having the pipes go thaw, freeze, thaw, freeze. That won't create any sort of metal fatigue. So we head into Saturday afternoon, highs in the 30s, northern half of Texas, 40s across the southern half of Texas, with 50s to low 60s, Rio Grande Valley, borderland, Big Bend region of Texas. Heading into Sunday, we'll start to slightly warm up across the Panhandle, West Texas, into the Permian Basin, 40s, 50s, 60 in El Paso on the borderland. Bit of a warm up right in the Rio Grande Valley, coastal bend, the immediate Gulf Coast, as we start to see some moisture make its way back inland, but we won't get out of the 30s in the Ark-La-Tex, North Texas, and Texoma. And then as we get into Monday, a more pronounced warm-up occurs as we see strong warm air advection begin and shower and thunderstorm chances. For what it's worth, next week looks quite wet. We could see over 5 inches of rain, parts of East Texas, Southeast Texas over the next week, with most of that beginning Sunday. All right, let's take a look at what the global forecast system is showing. This is in the mid-range, so we're using the American version of the medium to long-range weather model here, and this is just to show you the depiction of what it is, well, analyzing at this point. Timing elements, exact precipitation types, probably going to be changing up from each run, especially when you consider the European run, the various ensemble solutions. But what we're looking at here is a purely rain event, unless you're in North Texas, Texoma, Northwest Texas, and the Ark-La-Tex. There, temperatures are going to be borderline to start off precipitation chances Sunday evening into Monday morning. We may see freezing rain places like Wichita Falls to Gainesville to Sherman, points north into Oklahoma. For what it's worth, this is going to be an event where we're going to have southeasterly winds pumping in warm air, so temperatures will slowly rise Sunday night into Monday morning across most of Texas. This isn't going to be a case where we're going to have a cold air reservoir in place and then it being replenished by northerly winds at the surface, which would create a ideal ice storm situation. This, not a ideal ice storm situation, but we're going to have to see just how hard it is to get rid of that cold air and get above freezing Monday morning in North Texas, Texoma, and Northwest Texas, since that'll depict and eventually result in just how much ice we end up dealing with. Are we going to be dealing with just a glaze of ice before things get above freezing? Is the rain going to be falling heavy enough through the warmer air aloft to actually drag some of that down to the surface and prevent the raindrops from freezing on contact in sub-freezing temperatures near the surface, which does happen if the rain's heavy enough. It'll drag some of that warm air down and allow the rain to just run off before freezing. It reduces the ice accretion efficiency quite a bit. Or are we going to actually be able to hold on to some colder air long enough to support a more significant ice threat? Well, at this point, if that were to happen, it looks like it would be north of the Red River in southern, central, southeastern Oklahoma. But we'll watch it. Rest of the state of Texas, it's going to be above freezing. It's going to stay above freezing, and no wintry weather mischief expected in that department. We will keep an eye out for heavy rain chances next week, maybe even some strong storms as we get into mid and late week. It's going to get warm, but with that, we're also going to see heavier rain and some thunderstorms. And again, we could see quite a bit of rain next week, especially across the eastern half of Texas down into southeast Texas. Some data suggesting well over 5 inches of rain for southeast Texas next week, which in the cool season, January, would be a bit of a problem given that soils are, well, 1, dormant, 2, can only absorb so much rain before the runoff increases, and that's more so true in the winter. So we'll keep an eye on that. The weather next week active, but not in the wintry doom department for the most part. That'll be it for your Thursday edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. As always, you can get your local weather forecast in the free, super-de-duper Texas Storm Chasers mobile app. Just search for us in the Apple app, Google Play stores, and on our website, TexasStormChasers.com. And of course, thank you to all those who have been subscribing, hitting that thumbs up, leaving us notes and feedback on the Texas Weather Center YouTube. We love y'all. Thank you for joining us. We'll have another Texas Weather Roundup by 7 a.m. Friday. Have a good one. God bless.